Where were you this afternoon?
I was sleeping when the cops came to drag me right out of bed. This isn't about those stolen paintings, is it?
No. There's been a murder, Mr. Lee.
A murder?
Mm-hmm. Zachary Barnes was shot to death in the gallery.
Holy... Well, are you sure?
Mm-hmm. His wife ID'd the body at the scene.
Yvonne?
Mm-hmm. Yvonne. Was Mr. Tobin on good terms with Zachary Barnes?
Why? You think Tobin killed him?
What makes you say that?
Oh, tone of voice.
Just answer my questions, Mr. Lee. Were Tobin and Mr. Barnes on good terms?
Sure, they were tight.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever hear them argue?
Well, things got a little fierce sometimes, but it's because they both loved their work. You know what I mean.
Did you like Zachary?
Yeah, he was cool.
What I have here is a photograph of Mr. Barnes taken by the police photographer just a few hours ago.
Well, this is too much. Can I smoke a cigarette?
No, not in a public building. Please take a close look at the gun in the photograph. There. Just a few inches from Mr. Barnes' hand.
Yeah.
You ever seen that weapon before?
No, I've never seen it before. I don't know anything about this.
I understand you were pretty good friends with Mr. Tobin.
Sure. He was a good boss as far as bosses go. Cut me advances, let me work my own hours. Zachary was sort of my boss too.
How long you worked for them?
Since last August. Before that, I was riding a bike in the street delivering junk for all the jackets. It was pretty intense, you know, banging up and down the streets, looking out for buses, cabs, streetcar tracks, potholes, jerks opening car doors right in front of you, all for a few bucks. One day, I threw down my bike and just walked away.
Yeah?
And then I wandered around that day, wandered into the gallery, and Tobin offered me a job right off the street. Not everybody would do that. My full name?
Mm-hmm.
Simon Alphonsus Lee.
How long are your current residence?
About a year and a half. Moved out from Florida.
Your parents know you're here?
I'm 22 years old.
What's your father's name?
He died. He left when I was real young.
What about your mother?
Gloria Lee. She teaches school in Dade County, 8th grade.
You ever been arrested, Simon? Hey, it's easy enough for me to call Dade County and find out myself.
Yeah, one time. In high school, some friends of mine stole this old man's truck. It's no big deal.
How did Tobin get along with his girlfriend?
Ruby?
Uh-huh.
They got along good. A lot of women liked him, but Ruby, she's special.
Ruby sleep around?
What kind of question is that?
You gonna answer it?
Well, she wasn't sleeping with me, if that's what you mean.
What sort of person was Zachary Barnes?
Well, he knew how to be around people, especially a crowd. He had a kind of glow about him. But when you were alone with him, he didn't talk much. He'd just page through art books, look at paintings or something. First I thought it was just me. He didn't take me seriously, didn't want me around.
Why not?
I was Tobin's helper mostly. But one day, a couple months ago, we talked about art. And I realized that that quiet part of him, just looking at those paintings, that was what was important to Zach.
Mm-hmm. What about his wife, Yvonne?
I didn't know her much. Well, she's very beautiful, but she has a way of smiling like she's looking at somebody else. She knows a lot of fancy people.
What were your duties at the gallery?
Well, most of my work was for Tobin. I washed brushes, stretched canvas, gesso canvas.
Did you do any work for Mr. Barnes?
Cleaned up the gallery, poured wine at the openings, hung shows.
But mostly you listened to Mr. Tobin, right?
Sure, what was I supposed to do?
Did he ever ask you to do anything that, you know, maybe an ordinary person might question?
What do you mean? I'm an ordinary person.
Did he ever ask you to do anything illegal?
No.
Would you say your employer had a violent temperament?
Tobin?
Yeah, Tobin.
Not that I know of.
Did you ever hear him threaten to kill anybody?
No. You know, you're not very subtle.
Hey, honey. Subtle's not my job.